Morning everybody, and welcome to the Canyons. It is an unbelievable day for a ride, and unlike our standard motorcycle videos, we're actually in the Angeles Forest today, which, as we will see, is a beautiful place to ride the all-new Ducati Monster. When I posted a picture of this thing on my Instagram, almost universally everybody panned it based on the photos. Why? It doesn't have the trellis frame anymore. And if you are a Monster purist, a Monster originalist, you might think that a Monster needs that trellis frame, just like a Porsche 911 needs to be air-cooled, or like a Mustang needs a V8 engine. It's that sort of tradition. Now, I'm in an incredibly convenient position, because although I saw all those trellis frame monsters all those years running around since 1993, I've actually never ridden one. You see, it was too small for me to ride. I didn't find it comfortable, so I never bothered. Why am I getting at that? I am not an originalist. I'm not a purist. I don't care about the trellis frame. And if you don't either, this is the best motorcycle I have ever ridden. What they have done for 2021 is redesign the whole bike. Okay, and remember, Volkswagen AG owns Ducati now. They come in, throw tradition out the window, and then build good stuff. Think Porsche in the late 1990s, Lamborghini in the mid-2000s, okay? They know what they're doing. The front end of this bike is derived from the Panigale Superbike, okay? But as you can see, it's still naked. It's still upright. In fact, the riding position is even more upright than before. The engine is the heart of the Monster, right? Because the Monster needs to be a practical urban runabout with the heart of an Italian superbike. To that end, we've got the all-new 937cc Testoretta V-twin, right? It's a 4-valve engine. It's 2.4 kilograms lighter than before, but it makes 2 more horsepower and 7 more pound-feet of torque. This engine is good for 111 horsepower and 68 pound-feet. Out of a V-twin, that is just fabulous, okay? 6-speed gearbox with quick shifting standard, one of my favorite features of the bike. It has a wet clutch with an all-new clutch solenoid that reduces the clutch effort by 20% without reducing feel. That's amazing if you're going to be riding the bike in the city. The new frame is 4.5 kilograms lighter than the old bike. It's got an aluminum swing arm. The wheelbase is actually shorter than it was before, and despite that, there's more room for taller riders on the bike because they reconfigured the bars and the pegs. It has really long service intervals, 9,000 miles for an oil change and 18,000 miles for a valve service. The brakes are Brembo 4-piston in the front and Brembo single-piston in the back. And the all-new drive-by-wire system means different riding modes, different traction control modes, different ABS modes, all programmable by the user so that you can take this bike, start at the very beginning, and work your way all the way up. Now that's a lot of information, that's a lot of talking. Let's hit the road.
So let me explain to you what the big deal is with this Monster. The big deal is that it is 40 pounds lighter than the old bike. 40! On a 430 pound motorcycle. If you were in a 4,000 pound sedan or sports coupe and the company had told you that they cut 10% of the weight, 400 pounds, wouldn't you be impressed? I would. And so the result of all those weight savings, which come from all different places in the bike, the frame, the engine, everything, is just a bike that feels like an absolute featherweight. And I probably look like a big dumb gorilla on this thing. I'm a big boy, and this bike has gotten actually smaller in this generation. So for me to be riding this thing, it's like a normal person on a Grom. But check this out. Quick shifter. Boom. 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 Super smooth. And then off throttle. Back down. I mean, so smooth. When I rode the Multistrada V4 and had that quick shifter, I was like, oh boy, this changes the game. It allows me to ride so much more without my hands and forearms getting tired, especially in the city and in traffic. And now that we've got this Monster with the same system, granted, it's not quite as smooth as the Multistrada. In the lower gears, I still use the clutch for the 1-2 shift if I'm not really on it. But oh my God. That peak torque is at 6,500 RPM. It's up pretty high for a V-twin. And then peak power is all the way up at 9,500. Way up there. So even though it's a twin, it's got the revs. It's got a nice, pleasant sound. I really like that at least a third gear and up, the quick shifter doesn't affect the stability of the bike at all. And it's fast. If you're not like a super bike rider, if you normally ride like normal motorcycles, this is a fast bike. This thing rips. All right, tunnel. Let's see how it is in the tunnel. It's got this factory exhaust on it, but it's nice. It's a nice shorty bit. Third gear from 5,500. It's nice. It's got a real cammy, exotic feeling. I think it could be because of the 4-valve heads, just its general Ducati snarl. It's a beautiful thing to ride, especially on these smooth roads. My only real gripe with this thing is that on the freeway with the expansion joints, it can beat you up a little bit. Not to mention, without a windshield and an upright riding position, 80 is about your max comfort speed, you know what I mean? Without a top. Oh, I love the quick shifter so much. It's so precise. It adds so much perceived value to the motorcycle. This thing is also, it's so narrow. It's a skinny bike. I feel like my legs are pinching it real tight together. It allows me to use my thigh muscles to really grip the tank. Sort of like the Cayman GT4 Porsche, I could do this entire canyon in third gear if I wanted. Third is really long. The stability is really good. It's super comfortable. Everything I use like feels super high quality. The blinkers, the throttle, stuff like that. Super high quality. Really, really agile when you lean it down. I like the brake pedal feel. Cornering ABS, standard. Also traction control, wheelie control, and launch control are standard. If you know anything about me, you know I'm way too much of a pussy to get into any of them. I'm just trying to get up here, have a good time, and not die, you feel me? I rode this thing through Malibu yesterday. A lot of very tight second gear corners. The agility really came out there. But up here in the forest, what I'm really digging is how nice it is on these open sweepers. Leaving it in third, fourth, even fifth gear. And just sailing it through these sweepers. I really like the balance. I really like what happens when I engine brake and I drop a gear to slow down using the back wheel. I really love the mid-range punch, and I really love the flexibility. You know, with the different ride modes, you can put it in wet mode, sport mode, tour, urban, and each of those modes optimizes the throttle and traction control and stuff for that. Oh yeah! Oh, it rips. This thing is really quick, man. I really, really dig it. And with those different modes, if you wanted to buy this as a first bike or a beginner bike, you can actually put it in reduced engine power, reduced throttle response, and that'll really help you get used to it, to work your way up. It may seem completely ridiculous to buy a Ducati, an Italian sports motorcycle, as a first bike, but the fact is, my first motorcycle was a Suzuki SV650. And if I had this bike instead, I could have learned just the same on it without getting into trouble, and then worked my way up from there. Let's see, things I don't really like. The mirrors are tough to adjust and offer a limited range of adjustments. They work, but they're not my favorite. And that's it. The fact that it doesn't have a cargo box on it means I can't use it for practical things, but if I bought one, I would. But frankly, for $11,800, which is how much this monster costs, this is an extraordinary amount of value in motorcycling. It's easily one of my favorite motorcycles that I've ever ridden. It's incredibly versatile, whether you're going to be riding in the city, commuting to work, going up in the canyons for, you know, a weekend run, or all the above. I mean, this is an incredible one motorcycle solution. And, you know, in a world where enthusiasts like things to be specialized, a one motorcycle solution may not be what you want. But in my life, a one motorcycle solution is fabulous. This is comfortable, fast, light, agile, practical, well-made, exotic feeling, and most importantly, really, really fun. So thank you to Ducati for letting me have a go for 2 weeks. What a fabulous motorcycle this is. Thanks to you guys for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye.
And remember, always fight your tickets. Use code TST10 on the Off the Record app available in the Android and iOS store, or go to offtherecord.com/TST.